you keep mixing. Now comes this cool guy, surfing here, down lawless, straightening things up. A pro here, down lawless. Dan, 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 dan. Dan, 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 dan. Straightening things up. His name is Dan Lawless. Dan, 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 dan. Dan, 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 dan. Straightening things up. His name is Dan Lawless.
Hey everybody, today we're going to go back in time to a technique that I used to use many years ago when I worked for Marvel, and I did these trading cards for Marvel, and it is a colored pencil on Mylar. So I thought I'd go through a couple of these images here just to show you what I used to do. Now these were done double the size of a comic book trading card, and so they're pretty small. The final art's pretty small. And that worked well for colored pencil because colored pencil reproduces horribly, and I really it was I needed that double size reduction to kind of smooth things out. So it looks pretty good. It's not great, but it looks pretty good. This is another one I did. Now this was done really large, 10 by well over 10 by 15, and so it got a double size reduction, and it looked pretty good on the cover. But it's still, it's not what I prefer the computer to color today. I just don't like, the too much the look of the pencil. But this was cool. This is one of my favorite trading cards of all time. Yeah. A lot of people remember this one. So it was cool. The thing that's great about the color pencil, it's pretty quick, it's pretty clean, and it looks kind of like paint. So here's another Star-Lord cover. Timothy Zahn, the great Star Wars writer. I got to illustrate one of his stories. This is 3 books, fully painted or fully pencil painted, I should say. We, I used to call it, when you do use color pencil to do illustration, we call it a pencil painting. And then this was for Marvel Masterpieces, and I will show you this one, the actual original, when I go to my drawing table over here. So this might be the coolest thing I ever did for Marvel. I think really, you can see the Todd McFarlane influence, and it was just a whole bunch of fun. It was included in the book called Marvel Masterpieces, and it printed at the comic book size, so it didn't take that much of a reduction. So the image does not look good. It did not print well. If this had been on a trading card or something smaller, or it would look nice, but it just didn't. And then there's this one, my one and only Conan, Savage Sword of Conan cover that I did on the large piece. Lots of fun. This is a great. I mean, the great thing about colored pencils, man, I get really small details. You can sharpen your pencil, and I mean, I counted once how many heads there were, because this art does go off the page. It was cropped in, but about 70 heads on here, and they all have different characters. Look how much detail you can get in there. That's pretty cool stuff, So that's what the color pencil can allow you to do. It's very sharp, very clean, and very precise as the original, not for reproduction. As soon as you photograph it, scan it, it looks terrible scanned in. Like I would, if I was doing this on the computer today, man, this would all look nice and smooth, and the clouds wouldn't have any texture to them or anything like that. And the weird thing is, when you see the original, you don't see this technique. You don't see this texture. So it's great for a commission, which is what I'm going to do today. I'm doing a commission of Tigra for someone who's a fan of that. All right, well, let's get started on that. One thing that's bad, though, about the video, got to warn you, I should have had a hat on because my hair gets in the way. So it is literally a very hairy tutorial. So, it's kind of a little bit bad, but you can still see the technique and how I'm doing it, and how I approach the drawing, and see how you use this color pencil technique the way I did. So check it out, and we'll see you at the drawing table in a second. All right, here I am at my drawing table, and I am going to draw or color Tigra. But before I do that, I want to show you guys the technique I'm going to use, and that technique I used to use for many years, and I did all of my Marvel cards and covers and stuff like that with this. And it's a really interesting technique because I discovered this because through somebody I know who works in industrial design. They had all these things called, it's called, I don't know exactly what it's called. It's not. Here's the thing: it's not a vellum. People always think, oh, it's vellum. No, it's not vellum. It is a frosted mylar. This one has shine on the bottom and frosted on the side. And what that does is it takes colored pencil really, really well. It's really strong. And it's a really great technique because, and you'll see when I start my Tigra piece that you can do drawing, put it over, and it shines right through, and then you can color right on it. And it's so cool. And you can erase on it too, which is fantastic. Now, the great thing about this is it's easy and it works really well and it's clean and it looks like paint. The only problem with this color pencil technique is that it does not reproduce well. Color pencil in general reproduces really poorly. So when this was printed at 11 and a half by 8.5 by 11, I think it was, or comic, maybe no 6 by 9, 6 by 9, I think it was regular comic book size in Marvel masterpieces, from Marvel. It doesn't look as good because this is really smooth in reality. It might even look good on film. I don't know, but or on video. We don't have film anymore. But for some reason, when you scan it, it picks up all these little textures your eye doesn't see. So it looks really crappy. And until it takes, now if you take it and you reduce it about half the size, if you went about this big on it, it would look fine again. But for some reason, the textures are all, you always see so many textures that you don't normally see with your eyes. So it looks great in person, looks fantastic. But when it reproduces, like, that's crap, looks terrible. So that's why I don't really use it as much anymore. I like the look of the computer. There's so much you can do on the computer, and I just enjoyed the painting process. The final results are better, I think. But it's still a legitimate and good piece. And especially if you're doing like what I'm going to be doing here, original art for commission for somebody, this is a good thing. So anyways, I still have this. It's an old piece now, but it's pretty cool. And this stuff is, it's held up. The only thing about this one in particular is I had to be careful because I sprayed it with a fixative, and I don't know what that did to it chemically, to the color pencil chemically, but it starts to flake occasionally, and I have to go in there and correct and fix it. And I'll fix it. It works out okay. So I don't spray it with anything more. My colored pencils. I cover. Because what happens is you can kind of get the colored pencil can kind of build up a little bit of a surface or residue, and I'll just wipe it off with my hand. But so it's pretty durable. But so I don't spray with anything anymore, and it's completely durable, and it's pretty strong. So it's great. So let's get to working on this baby right here. And let me put that away. The client asked for this character, Tigra, in his school college colors. So the Louisiana State University colors, which are gold and purple. So that's exactly what I'm going to try with this girl. Now, when I'm approaching a drawing, when I'm starting any kind of a drawing, I usually use a brown and not a black, because the black smears and it gets really, really muddy and dirty, and with the colored pencil very quickly, especially with this surface and stuff, it kind of mixes. So a brown is a good starting point because it's dark enough to see, but not too dark. So I'll do the line work in, and then I'll start to do the coloring in, and we'll see what happens to the color pencil. I may not do this all online because it could be pretty boring. perhaps. But let me just at least do the face. And I'll show you, guys, just how wonderful this technique is that I discovered. I'm the only one who had it. I'm the only one who used it that I know of uh, to do these illustrations. So, okay, nose is on a girl. Don't put a lot of lines on the nose. Beautiful, keep that stuff clean. Eyelashes, nice and thick. Like a thick line. You got to study the eyes, like kind of more. The shape of these eyes until you start figuring out exactly what these lines are doing. But you can see how smoothly the color pencil works on here. And also, isn't it cool how the pencil drawing shines really right through it. It's clearer than tracing paper. And how the surface is hard, and it's like it gives you such a clean line. If this reproduced well, man, it would be a really good technique. I've actually done like ink jobs using a color pencil on this kind of surface. It looks pretty good. So yeah, I wish I knew the technical name of the paper. But I say it was used a lot for industrial design. They have these large rolls of it. That's how I got. I was looking for something I could use that was inexpensive or I had a lot of, and found this stuff and like, oh, it works really good. Now the interesting thing is you can kind of mix, but not a ton. It's not like this kind of technique is good for figures and stuff, but if you're doing a smooth sky or something like that, it's not really that great. It's okay. I mean, but it is color pencil, and color pencil it's got texture. So look at that clean line you can get though. Now here's the fun part. Imagine if you make a mistake. I'll put a line here. You can use a regular eraser. I use these Stadler erasers, and look how easy that erases. You can just erase it, and it's clean. It's cleaner than a piece of paper. So this paper is just remarkable. It does lose its point, so you have to continually sharpen it. Just regular. I use these little guys here to sharpen them with. Okay. Thinking about hair, right? You want to do nice, voluminous hair. Try to think of hair as in chunks, not in simple strands. A lot of things are like that in drawing. The eyelash, you don't draw individual eyelashes, you just sort of draw a line, you sort of draw a chunk. I drew this drawing on Graybeard's Graybeard Studio, which I draw live every week Wednesday with the great Aaron Lepresti and the great David Williams and the great Gary Martin. However, he doesn't actually draw. He's an inker, and he's there to help us by reading the chats and so it actually works out really well because he doesn't want to draw online. It's just, his work is so intense, like he has to just have total concentration for it. It's kind of difficult to do online, but I want to see him. Dang it, I got to get him to do it. I want to see him ink stuff. That's a skill I don't really have. Oops, I'm getting all kinds of stuff out here. I don't know where my brush is. You got to be careful with the color pencil. You get the shavings on here, and all of a sudden you're smearing it. The good thing, of course, is you can erase it, as I showed you, though. This doesn't hold a point that well. I mean, for very long though. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of the pencil or the pencil off, but but that's what's great about it. But it also means the point doesn't stay long. Man, this just feels like such old technology now. Before there were computers. Color pencil. It's funny how the computer does to color on a computer, to draw on a computer. It actually does take longer in some ways, sometimes. And the reason is, I think, mostly because you tend to zoom in on everything. And that's sort of what that means is you end up kind of working it larger, like a larger piece, more surface area you're covering with your hand. Now, what I could do, I want to show you kind of what's going on underneath. So let's take a look how this thing is going without, in between these two here. Come on. Let's see. Okay. So eventually, what I do is I take this off of the drawing, so that because I don't want to really see the pencil drawing underneath it because it's going to give me an artificial, view that there's spaces. I won't know what spaces aren't colored. The black is shining through so much. Sometimes too, when you mix different color pencils, they go together. They kind of there's texture in here, and the texture is reduced when you go with another color pencil. Not sure why exactly. That maybe is it just going over the second time? I don't know, but okay. I think she's mostly done there on the head, the line work, anyways. Maybe I'll do the hand too. Okay, that's good. Hands are really difficult to do, really difficult to draw. Took me a while to figure them out. I have a great video on hands, by the way. Check it out. How to draw the human hand. It's pretty comprehensive, and it took me like 2 weeks to put it together. And actually, the hand featured in the video is mine. I drew my own hand. Hand model, apparently. I come cheap though, so I work for food. Okay, that's good enough. Now I'm going to go in here with the yellows and oranges. The character is kind of a gold. When the colors of Louisiana State University are gold and purple. So, but I'm going to start out with more of a yellow because I do want some color variation. I want to see it kind of light to dark of some kind. And when you're doing light to dark, it's best, at least if you want to maintain color. And by the way, that's a great video I have on understanding color in comics. It's on my YouTube channel here. Understanding to keep the color popping and flaming, you want to use another color that's close on the wheel spectrum, because that will keep your colors alive. As soon as you start moving towards the if you add white, it starts getting messy. It starts getting dirty. So I use colors to shape something. But you can see here that when I go over with the yellow, there's some smearing that goes on here. And that's why I don't use the black, because again, just like with the colors, I was talking about the I don't want it the black to mix with. I want it to be a brown, which is a color, keeping it warm. Okay, now I'm going to use this orange to start finishing the colors a little bit. So it's always easier to darken than to lighten. Now I'll go back and forth with the two color, to yellow and the yellow orange. I really want to capture, the color of this of the school. That was the idea. Doing Tigra with his school colors. See, her colors look pretty alive because I haven't added anything on the opposite color wheel of I haven't added any. What's the opposite of blue? Complementary color. Complementary color. Now you kind of, the thing that's interesting about the color pencils, you can kind of mix it a little bit. See, there's lines here. I can kind of bear down and press down, and you can almost take it out. These lines get a little bit too thick. Because again, lines around a girl's nose, you kind of want to be careful. Now I will add white to here, to the eyes. But when I do that, I got to be careful. I don't want to, because once I do that, and you put any kind of a darker color over, the white will pick it up, or they'll pick up on its texture, so it looks dirty. So white is something that you kind of want to do last. I'm really not sure what her color of her eyes. I have to take a look at my reference, but probably green. I want a nice red. A flaming red. That's orange. What's this one? Crimson red. And this is, by the way, these color pencils are barrel color pencils. Really good. Looks pretty good. Maybe I'll make this one happen here. Probably should have sharpened this beforehand. Okay, now I'm just going to go in here and it broke. Dang it. I hate it when something like that breaks, because it just means you just lost money. Sounds kind of stupid, but it's like, hey, I got ripped off. You have to be careful how much you press on these babies. So some of the colors are weaker than others. Now what I'm going to do is use this red a little bit to define the shape just a little bit more. Instead of don't want to use a black or a blue or something, because that'll instantly gray it down. You do not want to try to grade. I'm trying to make this girl's color look hot. So now I can go back and add, some little bit of blues or so at some point here. But I want to start with the warmest colors, and then maybe just add a little bit of blue shadow just to make it interesting. You're looking for color contrast in your pictures. I'm gonna add a little bit of shadow now in the over the white here. On the teeth, and even on the eyes. See, this could get dirty real fast if I didn't use brown. I'll take this blue-green. That sounds good. For the eyes. Okay, now I just need some purple. Let's see how this purple is. It too dark? Because I want it to be light. A light purple to a dark purple. Now, when I'm working finishing this thing, I'm going to use black finally for the final, and then it'll start to really sing about. The brown is great, so it's sort of a slow buildup. I don't want to put black on until the very last, because, like I said, black smears, looks muddy. So when you want to keep that off your color pencil to the last bit. You can see the color pencils actually do kind of blend it well on with this frosted mylar. It's pretty cool, really. It's kind of fun to draw on paper again. Yeah. Color on paper, I should say. It's kind of like you get these little happy accidents. Did that sound Bob Rossi to you? I've been accused of being Bob Ross, like doing happy trees. Like I said, to do the Graybeard Studio show every Wednesday, 5 p.m. on Aaron Lepresti's channel. So look up the Graybeard Studio, and we got a bunch of guys, and sometimes we try to get guest artists if we can. That's really cool. But you'd be surprised how many people don't want to color on, or draw on camera, though. It's kind of nerve wracking. And you have to get set up for it too. It's not really that difficult. I mean, I just use my iPhone here. Now Tigra is or Tigra, whatever you call her name. She's normally has orange hair, but he asked specifically to have purple hair. So that's what she's getting. That's what she's getting. Okay, I think I see some. There might be something underneath the paper. Let me see if I can find why I'm getting a little bit of a spot there. And this is actually a good opportunity to see what the surface is really looks like here. I don't know what that is. I guess it's on the front side of it. This one doesn't have the shiny side on there. It's matte finish on both sides. So I like this blue tape, by the way, but this painter's tape. It doesn't hurt any paper that you put it on. It's really mild. It's designed not to bring up paint, so it's pretty cool. Now he wanted purple stripes. So it's not exactly Tigra colors. So, but it'll be close enough, actually. I could use this purple actually to give a little bit more dimension and shape in the thing. So I usually use a brush to sweep that away so it doesn't get all over the place. But I don't know where the brush is. Oh, here it is. This is very useful. Keeps you from smearing it with your hand. Just one of these. So that looks pretty good. I don't know if I'm going to go much farther than this. Let's see what time I have. Yeah, I might cut this just because, but you get the idea. You saw the look. Let me get a little bit of take a black here. Maybe just show you how the black thing looks. Okay. So it's you have to go over all this stuff, and it'll really kind of pop everything out all of a sudden. Especially you'll see it happen here on the eyelashes. That's so important. Contrast. Okay, see how that popped it out? really, really zinged it out quite a bit. I don't know if you can see this closely here. So it's looking cool. I'm digging it. I think the fan or the client, whatever you call him, he's gonna love it. So, but I'm gonna cut this short, and I'm gonna work on this myself. Now, maybe I'll put the video on later and actually just show you the finished piece. But right now, I'm just gonna, so this doesn't get too long. You saw enough, and you can see how the technique and how it works, and it's pretty cool. So let me just cut this now. Hey. All right, everybody, here it is. The done deal. The done deal of Tigra. Or Tigra, I should say. Not Tigra, that's a different character. So it's finished. You know, I used a pretty limited palette of colors here because she is not a flesh tone person. So I used, yellows, start off the yellows. First, of course, as you saw, I started off with the browns to get the line work. And then yellow. And then I warmed that yellow as I went, making it warmer, redder. A little bit of blues in the eyes, a little blue in the teeth, a little bit of blue down here. Anything that's white. This is just another brown I used. Now here's the two purples I used for the hair. The green on the leaves down here. Leaves is just green and yellow. And, two greens. Nothing, no white, just green, white, and yellow. And then everything then I went back with, the black. And then I darkened it last because you don't want to, as soon as you put the black on and you put a color over it, it starts mixing, gets really messy. So there it is. Colored pencil on this interesting surface. Kind of feels kind of thick and plasticky. It's a mylar of some kind. So let's see, you can see it pretty well now. And I think it turned out rather well. I think the client is going to like it. So with their tail, I always forget the tails on these characters. So that they have. So this is, it's pretty durable. Like I said, don't spray it with a fixative because for some reason, when I spray it, it reacts with the chemicals perhaps in this mylar and it flakes up. So just sometimes you get a little residue on this, and just kind of wipe it off. And I think the oils from your hand actually act as a sealant a little bit. So it looks good. That's it. So now you see the technique that I used a long time ago to do all these illustrations that people like and are kind of somewhat famous. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this new old technique that I used to use, and maybe you want to try it yourself. I don't know exactly, like I say, what you call that material. It is not vellum though. It's important to understand, and it is a frosted mylar. It has probably some names. It has probably several names. I don't know exactly what you call it. So, but if you can check it out, if you can find some of that stuff and try some colored pencils on it, you might enjoy it. You can actually ink on that surface just wonderfully well, and you could use a Prismacolor pencil to just do black line art on it. So it really takes things. It's a really wonderful surface to work on. But I would say I don't recommend it for reproduction. I recommend it for commissions and final stuff. So if you like this video, like and share it, and check out all my tutorials. I have lots of good stuff on how to draw figures and a perspective and composition. It's all here, all free, and it's got almost 40 years of experience as a professional artist at your disposal. So I hope you will check some of that stuff out, and we'll see you next time on the next tutorial. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.